When I got laid off, I thought I was going to bounce back like super fast. But no one tells you that losing your job can feel like losing yourself. If you're over 35 and you just got laid off and you're wondering why it's hitting you harder than a bag of bricks, I've been there. In this video, I'll share 3 things that nobody warns you about and how to come out stronger on the other side of this thing. When your job becomes a part of your identity, like your job title, your impact, your day-to-day rhythm that you've gotten accustomed to, right? Getting up in the morning, drinking your coffee, logging in if you're a remote worker, or sitting in traffic to get to your job. A layoff doesn't just hit you financially, okay? It hits you with an identity crisis. And this happened to me, okay? I was immersed, unfortunately, in my job. And my job and my work essentially became part of who I am as a person. And you might be feeling this right now, especially if you've given years of your life to a company. And for all of that time, like, your value is measured by your performance reviews, your promotions, or any work that you put out into this world on behalf of that company that you're proud of, especially. And then all of a sudden, overnight, or within a 15-minute meeting with your manager in HR, like, you're off the org chart. And that can mess you up, right? Like, you go from leading meetings and strategizing with teammates to being blocked from accessing all of the work that you've ever done while you were at that company and losing that validation. And when this happens, it can send you into a little bit of a depression. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I got very upset after I was laid off. Sleeping in, which is not my norm, crying from time to time, and just flat out just not being happy at that moment. But what no one tells you is that after a layoff, if you're feeling down and out or a little bit depressed or sad, that's completely normal. You laying around on the couch or crying for a little bit of the day is not you being lazy, right? You're grieving, essentially. You've just gotten broken up with for reasons that you may not understand. And you're starting to mourn a version of yourself that no longer exists. And that process of grieving can look different for everybody, right? The recovery starts when you stop trying to bounce back to whatever your old normal used to be, and you start rebuilding your new normal that fits who you are at this very moment. So if you're in this stage right now, I want you to try this, okay? Every single morning, instead of asking yourself, what should I apply for today? Ask yourself, what do I want my purpose, my career to look like going forward? What do I want the next chapter of my life to actually look like, right? Your purpose and what you want out of life should always come first. Those applications can come second. And here's another harsh truth. You might have 10 to 15 years of amazing experience, but you get out here in these job searching streets and you still get ghosted, or you get rejected or met with silence. You apply to hundreds of jobs. You tailor your resume for all of these jobs. You network like crazy, and you still get nothing for it. And trust me, I understand. I was getting rejected or ghosted for jobs that I knew I was at least 110% qualified for. And that completely sucks, right? It puts you, it makes you mad, okay? But we have to understand here that it's not that you're not qualified. It's the fact that this job market in particular is not designed to value loyalty whatsoever. Like, the days of being loyal are done. This job market now values keywords. Now you have like these AI or ATS filters, right, that boot you out before a human even sees your resume. You also have recruiters that are under a large amount of pressure. Not to mention that job boards nowadays are completely oversaturated, especially with bots. But what I quickly realized is that this is a game where the folks that match the job description the most get called back the most. It's not necessarily about who performs the best in real life. And I know firsthand, especially, like, that can completely crush your confidence. But what I do know is that you're a smart job seeker, and smart job seekers start to pivot at this point. You start to adapt your story to whatever is going to get your foot in the door. You adapt it to whatever is going to get you a call back. And then you also translate your skills into their language. So, for example, if you know you've managed projects for over 10 years, start saying that you specialize in strategic leadership or you're an expert at cross functional execution. The phrasing that you use in your resume and in these interviews actually does matter. And I will tell you this, when I got laid off, I was completely unprepared to talk the talk of this diabolical job market, okay? But the second your resume starts to talk in recruiters' terms, that's when they start to call you back. So no, your value didn't drop whatsoever, right? It just might be the fact that your messaging in your resume might need a little bit of a translation. And if you're still here, congrats, number one. Number two, like, this is the point that I really want to drive home and the thing that really impacted me the most. And this is the third and final point that I want to talk about here. And that is that you will never see work the same ever again. Once you've been laid off once, like, something in your brain shifts forever. You stop believing that hard work equals job security, because I definitely don't believe that. Not anymore. And you realize that,
oh, we're like a family here at XYZ Corporation,
is a lie. And even though that hurts, that realization, it frees you. Because once you stop relying on your employer and these companies out here for your identity or your safety, right? Like, you start to create that for yourself. And that's exactly what I did, right? Like, I started to look at work, my life, my purpose completely differently after I got laid off. You also start saving differently, right? Saving your money differently. You start setting boundaries, especially after you get a new job. You start looking at your career as your own to design and not for these corporations out here to define for you. And even though a layoff can break your trust with your employers, right? It can also wake you up. And that's probably the most important part out of this whole thing. So if you're watching this right now and your future seems unclear, right? Like, you're rewriting your resume through tears or just wondering if you're ever going to get hired again, remember that you are not broken. This time period right now is you being redefined. This part of your story and your career might feel brutal right now, okay? But you are learning that you are more resilient than you give yourself credit for, and you're able to build and rebuild from nothing. So if you're in this moment right now, take some time, right? Heal. Then start writing the next version of your story, because a layoff can't take that away from you, okay? If this video resonated with you and you like this type of content, don't be afraid to give me a like or a thumbs up. And as always, I'm here every week, and thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!